Hello. If you're new here, my name is Rain. If you're not new here, welcome back to my little corner of the internet. I really appreciate you stopping on by. And in today's video, I'm doing another little sketchbook session. I feel like it's been a while since I've done a sketchbook session. So many of my videos during December were sketchbook tours and going through my best and worst of 2023 stuff, and now that it's the New Year's, I want to just kind of start out just doing what I do the most and I do the best, which is just sit and sketch with me type videos. And I am trying to keep it a little bit short this week because I have plans for the content I want to make for the next video, and I really want to kind of actually put work into it. Not that it's like going to be a hard video, but I do want to actually really try to improve myself in the next video, so we'll talk about that later. So before we get into actually talking about the content, if you see a load of jump cuts, I just had so many issues with the sketch where I kept leaning into the frame and I just had to cut out my hair and like my glasses. I left my glasses in a little bit, but I had to like cut out my like head because it was just really blocking the frame. So the jump cuts, I know they're kind of bad this time around, but there wouldn't be a lot of context and the like beginning sketch phase if I just didn't try to cut it out the best I could. So sorry about the jump cuts. I don't know what was wrong with me when I was doing the sketch. I just could not for the life of me sit still. So sorry about that. But as for the actual sketch, I was vaguely inspired by, you know, those like big kind of shelf mushrooms on trees? Yeah, I was kind of just like inspired by the general kind of shape and texture of them. I didn't have a reference pulled up. I was just kind of thinking about them, thinking about how they look, thinking about how they appear to me kind of as I remember them. And I just wanted to incorporate that into a little bit of a sketch. So I'm thinking about calling this a fairy woman. I'm not sure what this is. Is she a fairy? Is she Satan? I don't know. We'll have to find out and decide together. But I just kind of wanted to play with the idea of the texture, and I'll put up a picture of what I'm talking about here-ish. But I just kind of wanted to play with it and have fun. I found that I had really bad art block at the end of the year. I think I'm still kind of plagued by it, but I am getting a little bit better. But I just could not find I don't think it was the actual inspiration to draw, but you know those kind of phases in your art where you just feel like you don't know how to art, where the art just isn't arting. And I have like 4 or 5 sketchbook pages straight of me just hating my work. Really just feeling dissatisfied, feeling like I don't even know what my own art style is. Nothing was actually like turning out how I wanted it to. And with that, this is the first time I've really sat down, aside from my New Year's short that I put up on the 31st, where I really actually like felt like good about my art. And my New Year's short from the 31st was kind of my first good sketch in a really long time, and I already had the concept down for that character sketch. I'll put up a picture of the sketch like here-ish. But I had the concept for the sketch. I had been saving that page to do a bigger sketch of that character, and I just had not found the passion for it. And so I had wanted to return to it before the end of the year, fill that page of the sketchbook, and just kind of just forget about that character. Like, I have been thinking about it, but not finding the confidence to actually finish the drawing. And I figured, like, if I'm going to just keep putting this off, I'm going to put it off until this is the last page in my sketchbook. You know what I mean? So I just was like, it's the end of 2023. I have a few hours to, like, do this, just get a sketch out and make a little Happy New Year's short for my subscribers and just the people of the internet who come across it. And I did want to bid people Happy New Year's who hadn't hit the first. I scheduled it for 8 p.m. I finished the sketch at like 7:20, so like, you know, a lot of countries had already hit January 1st at that point, but you know. So I just, yeah. that's an aside. But I just kind of sat down and I sketched it, and I ended up really happy with it, and I felt really good about my art today. And a little bit more. I have had some really bad sketches where the art just wasn't arting still, but I feel a little bit more at ease. And I had a really chaotic sketchbook page prior to this one, where I just kind of let myself be a mess so that I could just kind of try and figure out the root of the issue. I don't know how to word that better, but I really was a mess, and I put this little like piece of paper at the top saying that like this is part of the process, reminding myself that this frustration that I'm having with my art not actually like arting how I want it to, this irritation I'm having with myself is part of being an artist and part of developing an art, and it's just something that happens sometimes, and I needed to just kind of accept that. I need to process this kind of moment where I'm just not feeling super great about my art and understand that it will pass, and that I have to keep creating art if I ever am going to like my art again, if that makes sense. Like, if I just stop trying, it's not going to magically fix the problem. And a habit I have when I feel this way is I do a back to basics kind of routine where I just kind of reapproach learning anatomy. I play with anatomy, I do a lot more gestures, and I go back to kind of, you can see I'm using a normal pencil, not a mechanical pencil, and I'm just working in 3H, and I'm trying to assess the values and sketch lightly and feel it out a little bit more. And that's what I'm going to make my next video. So my second video of 2024 is going to be a kind of back to basics video where I'm sketching the human body, I'm going back to anatomy, I'm practicing different body types and stuff like that. And I'm just kind of trying to reset my brain from the I know how to draw and I am an artist mindset to the I'm an active learner kind of mindset. I don't know if that helps other people necessarily, but I've really found personally that kind of removing myself from the idea that I am an artist and I am experienced and I have a skill that I've accumulated and I've built up over the years, removing myself from that ideology and saying I'm going to just practice art like I'm a beginner again really helps me to separate myself from this feeling of frustration, and it helps me to kind of just break down and figure out what exactly is the source of my issue. Am I feeling an art block because I want to shade in a way that isn't feeling right? Am I trying to incorporate something into my style but I don't really know the principles of it? You know, the kind of saying that you have to know the rules to break them kind of thing. I don't necessarily actually always believe that in art. However, I do find that when I am trying to do something new with my art and it's not turning out how I want it to, usually the solution to it is to try and go to the basics or the fundamentals that it's tied to, and then say, what exactly am I supposed to do here? What do I need to do? And then figuring it out, studying it, practicing it, doing just pages upon pages of just kind of figuring it out, practicing it, all of that jazz, and then seeing how I want to stylize it to match my work and match my thoughts and feelings about my work. And it hasn't failed me yet, but I've been working on that. I'm going to, I think, have 2.5 weeks of just incremental anatomy sketches. I'm not sure how much will actually make it into the video and how much I'm actually recording, but I'm using a lot of just printer paper and scraps of paper where I'm just kind of forcing myself to do gestures and things of the sort. And with that, I do want to do a video talking about how I personally approach art block, or maybe not art block. I'm not really somebody who has art block where I can't put the pencil to the paper. At least I haven't experienced that yet, or I lack the motivation to draw. It's just the art doesn't actually like look good, and it's like I don't know how to draw anymore. It's like I've forgotten. And I do kind of want to do a video about that because that's what I'm going through right now, that's what I'm experiencing, and the quality of my work might be looking really different for another few videos where I'm really just kind of sitting down and I'm trying to get through this slump. And it's not like I batch film my videos so that I can give you guys like 3 months of content if I'm having periods like this. It's like I have to get through it, and I want to be completely transparent and authentic in my content. And so my content might be a little bit, my content's going to be the same, generally speaking. If you're from December, if you're a new subscriber from December, I might be at 600 subscribers right now. I was at 601 on New Year's, and then I'm at 600 right now, and so I might dip a little bit lower. I'm not sure, you know, people like unsubscribe and stuff, so I'm not sure if I'll actually be at 600 when you're watching this video and it goes up on Thursday. You know, it's got a couple days. So if I'm at 600 subscribers right now, thank you so much. If I'm not, I'm almost at 600 subscribers. So you can subscribe if you want more of my content, but you don't have to. You're also free to dislike this video. If you don't like it, let me know. I don't care. I love honesty and transparency. And so that's why I am very comfortable in the idea that my art might not look great for a little bit, and my art might look a little funky and a little bit wonky, or my art might not be everyone's cup of tea for a minute, as I'm trying to kind of reapproach the concept of what I want to be drawing right now and where this kind of block is coming from. And I have found very much that the anatomy sketches I've done up till now, the anatomy stuff was going to be this week's video, but then I had this sketch and I was like, oh, good, I can give you guys something like way cooler to look at for a little bit. And I can make a bigger video about it. So, you know, it was going to be this week's video, but I do really want to put more time and thought into it, and there's that. I've really found that kind of reapproaching anatomy and forcing myself to sit down and be like, I don't know what anatomy looks like. I don't know what it looks like. I have to pretend I'm completely blind to this topic, has helped me a lot so far. But I do want to kind of reapproach what I am enjoying in my art as well. I very much still love drawing pretty ladies and my OCs, and I love drawing fan art and stuff like that. But I just came out of a semester where I spent 16 weeks working on my art in relation to my disability, and all of my digital pieces, most of my digital pieces this year have been related to my disability. And I'm just not entirely sure, mentally speaking, how to even do digital art anymore. I very much have found that I'm in this block where I'm like, I don't even know how to draw on an iPad anymore, because I don't know how to think about anything other than my conditions when I'm sitting here. And in that, I do kind of want to try and think about my actual traditional art and reapproach exactly what I like to create and what I'm enjoying creating, and what can be digital art and what can be traditional art, and what I want to sketch and how I want to think about my art and stuff like that. And when I was thinking about what did I really enjoy doing this year and I would like to make more content about, I was like, I really still like that mushroom video. Is it a great video? That's up to other people to decide. I've only had my channel for I think less than 6 months. I think I started mid-June, so almost 6 months. So I don't really know if I'm actually able to say, hey, that video is like really bad now. I don't think I have the ability to say that. I especially don't think that my editing style has changed or my voiceover style. So there's that. Is it the best video? I don't know, but I am really happy with the art that came of it, and I had really fun, and I had never done that before. The kind of making characters based off of mushrooms. And so I was kind of thinking, and this just came to me and it felt very right, and I think I want to do a little bit more content like this. Of course, the sketch with me's aren't new, but I do think I want to spend more time creating little sketches like this where I get to play with concepts and I get to approach character design and characters in general in a way that's a little bit more temporary and a little bit less permanent. And then I want to use that to kind of approach developing stories about my OCs. I have really been thinking recently about how I really want to create more art about the dynamics that my OCs have, and I have been able to really sit with music a little bit more because it's the holidays and I'm not as focused on school and work. I work for a school, so my work is on break right now, which is not great. I don't actually know if I like my work having like multiple week vacations. I kind of like having a job to do, and I kind of like having like responsibilities I get paid for. I'm very lost right now, if you can't tell. But my work is starting up very soon, so I will be back to having my life. My internship has been going good, but it hasn't been keeping me as busy as I want it to. So I am very, very excited about that. I am very excited about the content I'll get to make about the art classes I'm in next semester. I think the only one where I'm actually creating art is typography, but I am really excited to finally learn like lettering, kind of, and to be able to kind of actually incorporate a new skill into my channel. But with that, I've been having a really hard time creating dynamic interactions between my OCs, and I've been having a hard time making them exist in the same space artistically and having them be proportionate and stuff, and I don't know what's wrong with me. It feels like having a chronic illness. You know something's wrong, but you just don't know what's wrong with you, and nothing's turning out right, but you're trying your hardest. It's just like I've just like been not in the mood for it, and I'm like, I don't feel good medically recently. We're really not in the mood to have my art concepts going through and down the drain currently. So with that, I do want to create more content like this, but I do think I have to go through this slump, and you guys are going to have to kind of deal with me being a little bit lost in my art for a little while, me not actually knowing exactly what is bringing me the most enjoyment that I can create content out of. I've created a lot of bad art, like quote-unquote bad art recently. I've spent a lot of time having really wonky sketches, really questionable and poor quality line work, and just nothing turning out even kind of passable. I've been covering up a lot of my work. I stopped using my sketchbook a little bit just because my art was so not satisfying. It felt disposable to me, like just sketching on scratch paper so I could get rid of it when it immediately just felt wrong type of work. You know, it just has been a weird phase, and I think that partially has come from me putting a lot of time into creating content that is focused on not drawing, and with that I have found myself in a position where I haven't actually been drawing for the sake of having this kind of schedule, and I think I let myself slip a little bit in my kind of sketching habits. I didn't mean to, but I think I might have. I can't tell because I don't date my work, which I really should. I should date my sketchbooks. But I think that might be it. I think I might have taken a bit of a break from drawing or became inconsistent, and I just kind of lost the groove of it. But I felt very motivated to sit down and create. It's just not working. So with that, I've said with that like 15 times. This is, wow, I'm really starting off the new year strong, aren't I, guys? I swear I'm not always like this. Please believe me. But yeah, it was partway through this drawing, right around here in the video, in terms of like the recording, where I was starting to think that this is really not any more about shelf mushrooms at all. It was my original kind of thought going into the art and thinking about how I wanted to approach it. However, it was very much looking more like questionable tree bark at this point. It definitely lost that kind of original intention very quickly, unfortunately, because I do think it'll be a cool concept, but it also means I get to reuse the concept and I can ignore this drawing ever existed and it won't be uninteresting, right? Like, well, that's how that works, right? But it definitely looks more like bark, or like when I have to draw bushes for my life classes, I'm just like, oh, bushes kind of look like this, don't they? Not really, but you know what? It passes. And I knew going into it that I didn't want the character to be a full body. I wanted her to cut off around the base of her rib cage. And in that, I wasn't entirely sure how I wanted to cut her off. Having her encased in this structure a bit more and having it be a bit more like a shell of her, something she's wearing, helped me to kind of cut off her body and feel like it's not too confusing. However, I am trying to think of a way to perhaps approach this in the future. Let me explain. There are a lot of artists I really, really like that are predominantly creating busts of people, characters, original characters and stuff like that. And I very much enjoy the bust style. I enjoy prints that are just like the bust of a character or they're cut off. I really enjoy those non-full body works that are just kind of a glimpse of a moment, an expression, a feeling, a outfit, a concept. Things like, what's her name? My brain is breaking. Grease. Lord Grease. I really, really like her bust. I like the way she has so much confidence in just cutting off the body right there, not even bothering to kind of indicate where it's going. She can just have it her way and just cut it off. And I want to be able to do stuff a little bit more like that in my work, but I definitely don't know that it suits my aesthetic to cut the body off and just call it there. I feel like I need some sort of ornamental, conceptual reason why the body's cutting off there. I think I put too much focus personally when designing a character to thinking about why they are the way they are and why this is what the frame is looking like, and I don't think I can just cut it off and be like, yep, this feels good. I need them to go off the page, or I need them to have a reason to not be fully here. And so I do want to work on that. I do want to work on finding a way to incorporate just doing busts into my style and into how I kind of approach sketching and character design, and be able to just kind of focus on the rib cage up like Lord Griss is so good at. I love all of her work, for the record, but it's with that I am hoping, at least sort of, that this is like a sign that I'm on the right track for figuring out what's kind of going to bring me a lot of inspiration and happiness in the future in terms of just sketching and really enjoying this new sketchbook. And then I also wanted to comment, now that the hair is closer to done, I just don't know what it was about this character, but I really felt like she needed to have kind of chunky hair that wasn't super defined by strands. I kind of wanted to indicate, oh, by the way, that big shadow is my cat. If you see it ever, it's my cat. But I just felt like something chunky, something a little bit more dense in terms of the hair, tighter curls kind of. I haven't really gotten good at drawing kind of like dense curls in hair, but I don't know that I necessarily want it to be curly, you know. So I kind of went with a kind of punk rocky kind of haircut style and just kept the hair broken into big chunky sections that maintained a similar roughness to it that the barky kind of texture that's coming out the arms feels. So it is cohesive. I, however, do really think that I need to think harder about the hair for this character, because I do think I want to redraw them and kind of reapproach them and play with this concept a bit better and a bit more thoroughly. However, I also kind of feel like I need to really assess personally if I want to approach the hair. Maybe dreads would look really good for this character, and then I have to practice dreads and see how I want to render them in my style. I'm still thinking about it. I'm not entirely confident in how I want the hair to look, so I'm very open to suggestions on that, what hairstyle you think and like hair texture you think will look good for her. I'm thinking, but I'm not sure yet. And I do need to practice whatever hairstyle I'm going into, because I haven't been having a lot of luck with hair recently. But with that, I need to learn to cut with that out of my vocabulary immediately. But with the hair, kind of me leaning towards wanting her to have dreads, me not being certain, like not certain on that topic, I did decide to make her skin tone a bit more medium toned, not super dark. It is a bit more of a medium tone. If I were to translate this digitally, it would be pretty middle of the road if I were to translate this digitally. I'm not really good with graphite and indicating the skin tones I want to for some reason. Like, for some reason, graphite wise, I think I go a little bit too light on the pressure with darker skin tones than I want to, and then too dark on the pressure with lighter skin tones. It's like I can't, I've never been good at indicating it with graphite, so I'm thinking a bit of a deeper toned skin, although that is kind of up in the air. I'm kind of open to suggestions overall, with people helping me to decide just what feels right for the overall character. This is what came to me in terms of the skin and the hair, and I don't know what would be best, because my focus going into it was just the texture of the arm bit, and when it came to actually the character in the center, I was like, oh, I didn't think about you. I didn't actually think about what would suit the theme if I were to color it. So when I'm maybe redrawing this in the future, I do want to do it as a marker illustration. So I need to think about skin tone and hair texture and get a little bit more firm of a thought on how I want to approach her overall. So let me know down below if that's what you think about those. And with that, my rambling has to come to an end. So if you like the video, be sure to like it, dislike if you dislike it, subscribe if you want to see more of my content, and then I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, wherever you are, and I'm really, really appreciative of you sitting all the way through this video. Bye bye!